नंदन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणान्विता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय 20. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 5, Chapter 8, entitled The Character of Bharat Maharaj, text number 20. Api svet krita sukrut manyat sukhayishyati Harinaraj Kumaro Vividaruchirar Darshaniya Nijamrugatar Kavinoder Santosham Swanamapa Anudana. This deer is exactly like a prince. When will it return? When will it again display its personal activities, which are so pleasing? When will it again pacify a wounded heart like mine? I certainly must have no pious assets, otherwise, the deer would have returned by now.
Out of strong affection, the king accepted the small deer as if it were a prince. This is called moha. Due to his anxiety over the deer's absence, the king addressed the animal as though it were his son. Out of affection, anyone can be addressed as anything.
So the attachment is a cause of suffering. Like, there are so many vehicles are there, but we are not attached to it. They get punctured or they get towed, or they get broken down. So we have no botheration. But as soon as our bike gets punctured, we have anxiety and we suffer because it's ours, it's mine. In hospital also, there are so many patients are dying and they are suffering so many things, but doctors will not have any, it will not affect them. because for them, nobody's really, they are not attached to anybody. But as soon as disease comes to themselves or their near and dear one, then they also will have anxiety like the patients. So same way, in renounce order also, we may look very pacified, peaceful. But something happens to us, then it will be a test how much detached we are. And the greatest attachment everyone has to their own bodies. And those who are outputs or manufactured entities from this body. So them everybody is attached, So obviously a king will have attachment to prince because the prince is his own son. So although Bharat Maharaj has left his own son, who is a prince, in reality, now due to his attachment to this deer, he is calling this deer as a prince. So his attachment has made animal into his own son. He could give up his own son, real son, but now he is accepting some animal as his own son. So that is more powerful. This moha is more powerful than having real attachment to his real son. So externally he is detached from his son, but now he is showing affection to this deer more than his own son. So that detachment nullifies by his attachment to this deer. That renunciation is of no value with this, poor attachment. So once Akbar was there with Birbal and he had one scent bottle and one drop fell on ground. So immediately Akbar took that drop and this was seen by Birbal. Then Akbar thought, what is this? I am a king. This one drop of sand is removing my reputation. I am losing my reputation. That Akbar is, attached to this sand bottle or whatever. So he made one tank filled with this sand and showed to Birbal. Then Birbal told, बूंद से गई वो हाउस से नहीं आती. He wanted to tell that whatever your character was gone by a drop cannot be replaced by a tank of sand. So like this, people become, they can give big attachments, but small attachment will prove them wrong. So in Ramanujacharya's disciples, there was one Grahastha disciple. His name was Dhanurdas. He was very Grahastha, but highly renounced. And that's why Ramanuja used to give a lot of time to him. But other disciples, they were envious of that, and especially renounced disciples. They were thinking, why Ramanujacharya is giving so much attention to this Grihastha. Then Ramanujacharya once he told his disciples that we have funds, short of funds in our temple. Go and steal the ornaments of this Dhanda's wife. So they go in the house of Dhandas. There, his wife was sleeping there. Then they were removing ornaments. She realized that somebody is removing ornaments. When she saw these are disciples, then she thought, maybe there is shortage of funds in temple, so let them steal. So one side they stole everything. The other side was having ornaments. So she tilted, shifted. Then these all disciples ran away. Her intention was that take from other side also, but they thought she woke up, so they went away. Then Dhanurdas next day he came and his wife told this thing. Then he shouted at her, "Why you moved? Let them. They would have taken other ornaments also." Then he asked her, "Remove all your ornaments." And he took the ornaments and he brought to Ramanujacharya. He told, this take. And by that time, Ramanujacharya, he removed the coffins of these brahmacharis and kept somewhere. Then these brahmacharis fighting, where is my coffin? Where is my coffin? And they all came to Ramanujacharya. Here Dhandas came with, bag of golden ornaments, and here his disciples have come with a complaint that we lost our coffin. And when they saw this, then they understood that what is our renunciation. We renounce everything, but now we are not able to renounce our cloth. So like that, we have to check. Many times we give up big things, but for small thing we get failed. Our renunciation fails, our attachment erupts. So this way here Maharaj Bharat is lamenting, calling that deer as a prince. Everything is concocting by his own mind. So everybody has sentiments, but for whom we should offer the sentiments, that is important. If we don't offer it to Krishna, then we'll offer it to dog also. People cry also if their dog dies. They bury the dog. They celebrate the Shraddha also. Like that, people feel that person as a family member. But God, they have no value in their life. So this way, the sentiments are stolen by some small objects, which are of no good for no lamentation and all that. So spiritual person should be very cautious where his emotions are going, whom he is keeping in his heart, whom he is keeping in his mind, and for whom he is offering his activities. So kayena vacha manasindriya. These all activities by mind, by words, by actions should be dedicated to Krishna. So we should check ourselves. For whom I am putting my energy of speech, of my mental thoughts, and my physical activities. So this is what one has to do. We work very hard for the things which are not related to Krishna. And when we start working for Krishna, we feel very tired. we get exhausted because we are doing it for Lord. Otherwise, we would have worked very hard for our own sake. Suppose we fast for Krishna, then we feel, oh, I am fasting for Krishna. But if you fall sick, they put in ICU, you're fasting there for 7-8 days. Nobody feeds you. But that time nobody feels any pain. Somebody gives donation to Krishna, they feel, oh, I am giving so much donation. But government is cutting donation at the source only. And nobody feels anything because it is gone there only 30% or whatever it is. But when we give little bit to Krishna, then we feel, oh, I am giving too much. So like that, when Krishna comes in our life, we start our meter. Like rickshaw person, when passengers are not there, he is roaming around everywhere. As soon as passenger sits, meter starts. So same way, whole day we waste here and there. But as soon as we start reading, we start counter. How much I am reading? How much time? When we start chanting, we put our count. We spend more time in bathroom, but when it comes to serve Krishna, then we start count. While taking prasad also, 1 hour goes like that only, we start talking each other things. So like that, our counter starts when we start serving Krishna. But for our own sense gratification, there is no limit and there is no restriction. But pure devotees, they do opposite. When it comes to serve Krishna, they don't look at time. But when it comes to serve their senses, they feel they are wasting time. So Raghunath Goswami, he used to drink 3 drops of buttermilk. He used to think that I am overeating. And they are sleeping 2 hours in a day. And they used to feel that, we are doing something. So like that, pure devotees' service attitude towards Krishna is totally different. Their affection for Krishna is totally different. And their everything, a service to Lord is different than ordinary person. So we are calculative when it comes to serve Krishna. So like that, our affections, everything will be misutilized if you are not properly trained. कृष्णेंद्रिय प्रीतिवाचा तारे बोले नहीं, आत्मेंद्रिय प्रीतिवाचा तारे बोले काम, कृष्णेंद्रिय प्रीतिवाचा तारे प्रीत. So pritivacha is both places, but for whom it is, that will decide whether it's lust or it's a love. So that's why we have to channelize our attachment, our endeavors, our thoughts. Manmana bhakto madhyaji mamanuskuru mamavesi satyam te pratijani. We become dear to Krishna when we offer our thoughts, our words, our actions to his service. So that way one has to do, So here now his final sentiments, is getting misutilized because of these deers, overly attached to this deer. And he is thinking that I don't have pious credits because the deer is not returning home. So he is thinking that pious credits are meant to have a deer at home. So this is totally shocking. That how come such a mindset has come in the life of Bharat Maharaj, that he is thinking that these pious traits are meant for getting a deer in his ashram. So like that, he's just thinking, and this all his arguments are very shocking to a genuine spiritual practitioner. How come he got carried away so much? So the reason is moha. This is a worldly affection which creates illusion in the heart of a living entity. Sometimes we are ready to give up Krishna for something else out of this moha. So we have to be very alert. And the problem is those who are in this moha, they don't understand that they are doing something wrong. They think they are doing right. So if somebody thinks he is doing right, then he will do obviously that thing. And even if you try to give him good advice, he will not take it. Because his mind is thinking he is doing right. Then how will convince such person? And many times we are also convinced like that. What I am doing, that is sadhana. Whatever I do, that is morning program. This is my devotion service, and that is best. So this is our conviction, and that's why we don't pay attention to any advice. Because we think that I am doing best, and this will take me to spiritual world, and we will create our own spiritual world where we will be there, and we think that Krishna will be there. He has to be there obviously, because we have created that world, and where Lord will go. So we create our own Golok where Krishna has to come. So rather than going the Golok which spiritual master has created, we create our own planet. So that is power of illusion. So what spiritual life we should practice, we should decide that our mind or the mind of pure devotee. So if we don't obey the mind of pure devotees, then how can we achieve success in spiritual life? That's why we should not fall in this moha of our mind, which makes its own decisions, which makes its own program, and which makes us feel that whatever I am doing is perfect. So who should say that you are doing perfect? The in charge should say, or the authority should say, or your counselor should say that you are doing perfect. But we say, I am doing perfect. And they are saying you are doing imperfect. Then we say, you are imperfect. Who is in Maya? Who is in Moha? The authority is in Moha. So like that, whole paradigm shifts. So like mental hospital, patient thinks others are mental. The doctor also, he thinks he is mental. So that way our situation is same in this world. We are so convinced with our own ideology and our own things that we think that others are they are in illusion. Sometimes we influence our ideology on others. This is bhakti is. So we have to be very careful. Are we following sadhus, shastras, gurus, or we are doing our own? We are running behind our own mental mind. So now here, whatever he is speaking is totally surprising. Actually, he is calling that deer as a prince. He is giving all his pious credits to get that deer at home. Is it the this is the way one has to? For this he has come to forest. So whole purpose got defeated. So we have to be very careful that we got a human life. Now we should not feel sorry for Bharat Maharaj. He is just representing us. He is Mahabhagavad devotee. But he is just representing us, and we think that we are not that. We feel Bharat Maharaj is less advanced than us. But actually speaking, such an advanced soul has such a difficulty, and we are nowhere, and we think that I don't have difficulty. So this way, these all stories are alarming. The examples which devotees put into difficulties is to just make us serious. Krishna is using these examples to teach us lesson. So we should not take good examples as we should not replace ourselves in good examples. And when such an example comes, we say that they are only there. It's not me. Gopis are dancing in Vrindavan in Ras Leela. We think that I will be there. When Prahlad is put in hot oil, then who is there? Prahlad only there. I am not there. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, or Bhakti Thakur, they say, Osam Patita Prabhu na paye bear, then we think they are only there. And then Vrindavan Ramasthan, these all, we are there. Jai Jai Radha Krishna, Yugala Milana, and Chamara Dhula, that all, those all places, I am there. So then we are neither there, neither here, we are somewhere else. So we have to be very honest with our practice of devotions. So we should never decide that I am perfect. We should always ask those who are taking care of us that any improvements I need to do. They first of all, when they hear this question, they get shocked that how this person can develop such a introspective attitude. Or many times they are behind us, but we don't listen to them. Already we are getting many instructions from superior. It's not that we have to go and take advice and ask them and beg them, please tell, please tell. They say, no, you are doing good. That never happens. Instead of their telling everything, we say that I am doing good. They are telling, Ari, you do this, you are not doing that, you are doing. We say that you are in moha, you don't understand what I am doing. How advanced I am. So like that, we don't pay heed to the advice which is given. And later on, devotee gets frustrated and they just stop giving advice. And we think that we are advanced. We reached perfection. Now no more advice is coming. That means what? I am advanced. Because I am now not getting any Superior thought is gone case. We cannot give him any advice. And here gone case person thinks that I have gone to spiritual world and no more advices are coming to me. You know? So we have become hopeless cases. Like in Japa also, suppose somebody wakes up, you feel, what is this? They're disturbing. And those genuine people, they sacrificing their japa, they're waking you up once, twice, thrice, and they understand you are stubborn. You don't want to get up. Then they stop waking you up. And you think that today nobody touched me. That means I chanted all rounds attentively. But what attentiveness you had, that Krishna only knows. You know, we just slept 2 hours and got 16 counters beats down, and we think that I have chanted. So we should not become such untouchables that nobody is touching us. That nobody wants to give advice because we don't follow and we don't feel grateful. We shout back to them, then they feel better. But to spoil my relation, they just pat, you're doing nice, and you think, I'm doing nice, and life goes on and on. Then we miss the opportunity of going back to God. So even to get advice from devotee, one requires a fortune. They will not come out of it. Chastisement, we don't give chastisement to street people. Then we'll call crazy only. The chastisement correction is given to only intimate people who can take heed to, those who pay heed to it. So that's why any genuine Vaishnava gives us any advice, we should take seriously, and we should work upon it. We should not feel envious to that person, or we should not find fault in him. That he says one thing, you are doing less here, then we should not find out where all places is doing less, and we go and tell you are doing so many places. So that's not the way. So one should be very genuine in his practice, and otherwise we'll get carried away like this, thinking any person as a prince, any person as a object of our piety and all that, giving heart to anybody. So like that we'll do. So we should analyze where our thoughts are, where our activities are, and what words, whom we are offering them. So this way we should check. So at least let us do official devotion service nicely. Whatever 2 hours we are committed to give it to Krishna, let us give genuinely those 2 hours to Krishna. Forget about 22 hours remaining, whether we will give it or not, that's okay. So whatever we are doing, for Lord, let us do with quality, and observe ourselves. So then daytime we can have some protection. Like those, you saw ad, a Chawanprash ad. The boy eats 1 spoon of Chawanprash and there is aura around him, and no germs will attack him. So like that we should do nice morning program, so there is aura around us, where we go work outside, nothing influences. Only thing, we should have a strong shield. Otherwise, if we are weak, then anything will disturb us. Okay. So any questions you have, you can ask, or we'll stop here.
Sometimes mind says I'm like this only. I cannot go beyond the limits, especially when it comes to speech. Means this is my maximum capacity for the technique. But when it comes to doing job, making more money, then we will go beyond our capacity. And we think why these devotees are pushing me so much to more japa, more some. Now this is time to make career and all. Then there is the hope of going in the mind. Because mind is telling do bhakti minimum and do your profession maximum. And devotees are telling try to balance both the ways. Then in those cases, how do we balance?
Actually, first of all, we should see a right authority depending upon our destination, where we want to enter. If you want to enter in Grihastha ashram, then you should take advice from Grihastha devotees. If you want to enter in Brahmacharya ashram, then you should take advice from Brahmacharis. Because both will have different parameters to help you in a different way to stabilize in your long-term devotional service. When you take wrong advice from wrong person, then it becomes a problem. Like dentist is there, you cannot go and ask him tongue problem. His specialty is different. No? So same way we have mental anxieties or some legal issues, we cannot go and ask our counselor. He cannot solve legal things or or psychological things. So we should take right advice from right people. If you want financial crisis are there, take financial advice from experts in that field. Spiritual advice you should take from spiritual people. Don't mix from each other. Don't ask spiritual advice from financial people, and don't ask financial advice from spiritual people. Spiritual people will say, "Arey, what is required of money? You just." And you go to financial person and say, "Arey, why are you chanting?" And do more job. So take a right advice from right people and follow that. Don't expect everything can be advised by a spiritual person for your material things. So take right advice and apply that right place. So morning program, how can you do? You ask your spiritual authority. But daytime job, you should ask to the people who are good in that field, and then you should work.
Sometimes spiritual authority they also make decision of our material life. They try to take control of everything. Like some counselors, they are micromanagers. They will also guide in terms
So
of
we
finance.
should understand what is benefiting. If it's taking us to loss or whatever, then we should take advice from another 2-3 devotees at least. Then, because everybody is learning, but in their learning phase, we should not become a scapegoat. So better we should take advice from mature devotees. Either they are mature not to understand that actually we have to be mature. So we should not be fanatic followers, but we should utilize whatever God has given us intelligence and take a right direction, advice, and not lament later on for what we followed. So not everybody is good in everything. So their intention may be right, but application may not be good. Like we have, suppose a child has a jaundice. Mother is very loving to that child. She makes puris, pakoras, and the boy likes also. And he'll eat and he'll die. Yeah. So we should, when we think that we are not comfortable, we should ask 2-3 people and reconcile and see what can be done. Because later on, it's your life and you only have to bear it. In general, many are good, but sometimes it may not be true also.
Sometimes we are bombarded with so many services and we forget some of the things to do in that, and because of that we get heavy chastisement and correction also. But we find it that it is means just a small mistake, and we are getting very heavy chastisement for them. So our mind doesn't takes it in the good way.
Actually, when we commit, no, we must do it. Otherwise, we should not commit only, because they would have given it to somebody else. But in flow, we think that I'm Superman, I can do everything, and we show such a positivity to our authorities that they empower us like anything. And later on, nothing happens, then they will chastise with the same, with same heaviness. They will come upon us. So beginning only, because now time is limited. Like suppose you have to cook for 500 people at 1 o'clock. Morning they told you, you gave a commitment. You said yes. Now it's at 12:30. And you have not started the fire house. And 500 people have come there. And you just say sorry. Then they will boil you in the water. Because in 1 hour what they cannot do anything, no? And then they will hire you. And they will, and you think, what is this? Why they are improportionate with their anger? We don't realize that side, no? Other side we don't realize. So that's why whatever we tell, we should do it very perfect. Otherwise, we should be frank that I cannot do. It's not my capacity.
But sometimes what happens that service is given in combined way, means some other devotee has given some service and we have given partial service. So we done our part, but that devotee has not done that their part.
So then you
Because of
should
that-
you should report to your authority before things collapse. That I have done my part, he is not doing this part. Please, you look into it now. Then at the end of the day, where they cannot repair him also, neither you also. So when you are thinking that it's collapsing, so you'll wait to it get collapse, everything get destroyed. You should go and report and let them come and save at that time. Then the disaster takes. Now suppose some building is on fire. Fire just began. Will you wait till night? My reporting time at 6 o'clock. I'll report at 6 o'clock there is fire. By the time there will be ash only. So you should tell when things can be saved. Or you should tell that person that I'm going to tell that authority, you are not doing your part. Otherwise, he will put blame on you, then you will surprise. Better you go and report that I have done this part, he is not doing, and I feel there is a problem. And if authority says there is no problem, then anyway justice will not come to you. But authorities will chastise those who are responsible, those people only, because irresponsible people, there is no use of chastising, because they are irresponsible for chastisement also. So then there is no point, and unnecessarily we get mental stress and all that. So when combined services come, then you should beforehand only clarify what is your role, responsibility, and all that. And when things are going wrong, the second person is not listening to you or he's not taking seriously, better inform your authority within a time where they can do something. Suppose you have to report at 6 o'clock. every day. In morning 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock only you are coming to know that this is going to collapse. So you report at 12 o'clock. So they have buffer time to replace him or do something. Yeah. Then they will be very happy with your reporting. You can tell that 7% also that I am going to report. Yeah. Don't feel bad later on why you report. So like that we have to be, because ultimately success is of team. Whether one person fails or one person, like a chain is there. So the strength of chain is weakest link, the weakest link. That is the strength. Other are 10 kilogram, but links are there. But here only 5 gram link is there. Then what is the strength of that chain? 5 gram. So when it's given in group, the task, then who is not performing, he will bring the calamity. So we should be very practical and alert. When we take services is to please. That we should always remember. We do services to reduce the burden of that person. Not we do services to add burden on him. We want assistance to relieve our stress or relieve our load. Not that he only sits on your back. You have to do your thing also, you have to do his thing also. Then what is he subordinate or what is? So we should do things in time. And there is no wrong in it. If you cannot do, say I cannot do. If they say no, you can do, then you should tell I'll try. But don't give confidence and don't do, then they'll come. It will even disservice, and because many things are depend ahead which we don't know. Which they know. They have a whole figure with them, no? We think only this much is not done. What is about? But there are so many things depend upon that. Okay. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava.